All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar on California benefits and healthcare services in partnership with the College of the Sequoias. Today's September 15th, 2021. All right. So before we get going, some quick housekeeping things. We did send out an email. You either got an email yesterday or sometime this morning that had the meeting details included in the body paragraph. There were also some attachments inside the email, attachments like a PDF copy of your veteran resource book. There's also instructions on how to use the Zoom chat, as well as a PDF copy of the link map, which we'll explain a little bit more about what that's all about in a bit. We'll start off with a quick overview of the CalTAP program, followed by information on your local interagency network coordinators. And then we'll hear from Charles Green, who is an outreach specialist for the VA, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about the VA healthcare system. Once we're done with that, we'll go into a virtual questions and answers panel and answer all questions that you have for any presenters. With those questions, we ask that you submit those to the CalTAP questions individual. All questions will go there, or you can simply ask the questions in the Q&A tab at the top. We'll keep those for the very end and then respond to them then. This is the instructions for the Zoom chat. Like I said, you received this in the emails that you received either yesterday or this morning. Take a look at them if you're not familiar with how to use chat, or if you need to know how to participate in the chat. It's there for you. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to one of us, and we can definitely walk you through it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. My name is Michael Cisneros. I'm a training coordinator with the California Department of Veteran Affairs, and I work with their CalTAP program. And I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the program and how we work with veterans across California. So what is CalTAP? Well, CalTAP is a transition assistance program that's designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to their earned state and federal benefits, as well as provide continuous support as their needs change over time. And so what we've done is we've developed pathways that help veterans kind of navigate those benefits. Pathways like an entrepreneurship pathway, employment pathway, there's an education pathway, and there's also a core curriculum pathway. Core curriculum pathway has information that doesn't fit into the topics that I just mentioned. So there's a lot out there. There's also a service provider pathway. We don't cover too much on about the pathway during these webinars, but if you know anybody within your community or at your school that does want to work with veterans and just wants a little bit more information on how to actually work with the veteran community, a little more information about their culture, they can always check out this pathway on our website to gain more information. This is a veteran resource book. I like to say that this is gold for veterans. You were sent a PDF link in the email that you received yesterday or this morning to download this book. Everything that we discussed today regarding benefits for veterans through California is in this book. You'll be able to read up on the benefit. You'll be able to read up on eligibility requirements, and it also lets you know how to start the processes and where to go, where to turn your documents. So definitely take a look at this book if you're interested in what's out there for you as a veteran. I'm sure you'll find a lot in this book that you probably never knew that was available for you. Information on the CalTAP program can also be found on our website. If you go to calvet.ca.gov, and in the middle of the screen, you'll find a CalTAP banner. You click on that banner, it's going to take you to our pathways page, which looks like this. Click on any one of those pathways, you'll be taken to a modules page that breaks down that information in more detail. Before I move on, though, I do want to bring your attention to the archives link down at the bottom. Since we've gone into lockdown and since we started this pandemic, we've switched over to a webinar based service, I guess you could say. And we've been offering webinars to our veterans and service members and their families that cover topics like the pathways that you see right here on screen. We also talk about other topics that we think you might benefit from hearing about, whether that's mental health, financial literacy. We talk about claims and compensation, anything that you can think about that will help the veteran here in California. We try to cover it in our webinars. So feel free to take a look at the archives link and see what we've talked about in the past. We will also post the PowerPoints for those videos. So if you want to go and check them out and just have more resources in your back pocket, go ahead and take a look. So how do you use CalTAP online? Well, if you go to our website, calvet.ca.gov, you click on that CalTAP banner and you click on any one of the pathways. For the example, the core curriculum pathway, they'll take you to a modules page that looks like this. Here in this pathway, you can find information regarding the VA healthcare system, claims and compensation. There is a financial literacy module down there at the bottom. But if you're just kind of curious about what your benefits are for California, you could always click on module number 5. And it will break down those benefits for you. So you're probably wondering right now, what are those California benefits? I'm gonna just go through a couple of the main ones that we get a lot of questions on for veterans. But like I said, check out that resource book. There's more out there for you and more detail that you could get regarding these benefits. So information starts on chapter 1, page 13 of your resource book. And one of the first ones that one of the main ones that we get a lot of questions on is the college tuition and fee waiver for our veterans dependents. And so just to be clear, this benefit is probably one of the few education benefits offered through Calvet. And it's only for the veterans dependents. It waives tuition and fees at any state funded school. So any UC, CSU, or California Community College. And it saves the veteran over $35 million a year. And so this benefit is there for the dependents because we're trying to encourage the veteran to use their GI Bill without having to feel like they need to give it up to their dependents so that their dependents go to school. So this just allows the veteran to use their own benefits while also sending their kids to school. If you do have a spouse that wants to utilize this benefit, there may be a way. You just have to see if you're eligible for one of the other plans. There are 4 different plans for this benefit: Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, and Plan D. We see more veterans fall into Plan B. This is because Plan B requires the veteran to have a disability rating between 0 and 100. It's a broad spectrum. Lots of veterans can fall into it. But if you do have a spouse that wants to use this benefit, you just have to see if you're eligible for Plan A, Plan C, or Plan D. If you are eligible for either one of those plans, then you can give this benefit to your spouse. So split it between your spouse and your child dependents, however you feel is right for you. We've also partnered with the DMV to make it easier for individuals to identify themselves as a veteran. So now you can actually get the word veteran printed on your driver's license. Excuse me. This just makes it easier makes it so that you don't have to carry around something like a DD Form 214 in your back pocket. That DD Form 214 has sensitive information on it. And so, this just makes it so that you don't have to carry around your social security card in your wallet. There's also programs out there that allow you to celebrate the armed forces or, somebody in the military who's earned a ribbon or a medal. That the Honoring Veterans License Plate program is actually open to all residents here in California, not just veterans. And proceeds for this program actually go to your county veteran service office. And then finally, there's a motor vehicle registration fee waiver for veterans with a 100% disability rating. If your disability rating affects your mobility, then you may be eligible for this benefit. We just recommend you go and speak with the county veteran service office. A veteran service representative could definitely let you know more about the eligibility process and how to get the process started. Outdoor activities. For those of you who do like to be outdoors, we have a fishing and hunting license at a reduced annual cost. There's also a state park pass that you could get for free. Both of these do require a 50% disability rating or more. And you do have to serve during a wartime period for the state park pass in order to be eligible for that. Tax programs. We do have tax programs for veterans also, for veterans who are looking to open their own business. You may be a disabled veteran who's looking for a tax exemption, or you have property that you want to get a tax exemption on. We don't talk too much about the tax exemptions or the tax programs during these webinars, only because they differ across California. But if you are interested in learning more about these programs, we definitely recommend you reaching out to your local county tax assessor, and they can break it down a little bit more and tell you how to get started with this. Home loans, we have a Calvet home loans program that's different than the federal VA home loans program. So our Calvet home loans program provides financing for veterans, competitive market interest rates, and they offer low or no down payment, or there's low or no down payment requirements. We do have somebody who loves to explain the home loans program to the veterans across California. His name is Brad Pedersen. We'll go ahead and try to put his contact information into the chat. If you have any questions about this program, or you're in the market right now for a home, please reach out to Brad. Brad loves speaking with the veterans and their family members here in California. He's always letting us know to give his information out whenever, without having to worry about letting him know if they'll be calling anytime soon. So we'll put that in the chat and reach out to him if you have any questions about the home loans program. For our women veterans, we have a program that provides information, advocacy, outreach, and support. They also partner with the Women Veterans Leadership Council. This just allows our women veterans to be up to date with what's going on with our outreach opportunities in the state, and also gives them more opportunity in the state. And if you want more information about the Women Veterans Division, you could always go to their webpage at calvet.ca.gov. They do have a roster you can sign up to as well. This just kind of keeps you in the loop with what's going on with the division over the next couple months. Minority veterans, we also have a program that provides information, advocacy, outreach, and support. This program also helps unnaturalized veterans with citizenship and naturalization services. And more information about that division can be found on the Minority and Underrepresented Veterans webpage. All right, homes for long-term care. Long-term care, you're probably not thinking about long-term care right now, but if you have anybody within your community, or you know somebody, a family member that does need this kind of help, there are 8 different locations across California that offer medical, dental, pharmacy, rehabilitation, and social activities. These locations are everywhere from Chula Vista down south all the way up to Redding in the north. And our veteran cemetery, again, probably something you're not thinking about right now, but if you do have somebody within the community or a family member that is looking for services for our California veterans, there are 3 different state cemeteries for veterans here in California. There's one in Seaside, California, which is right outside of Monterey. There's another one in Redding, California, and also one in Yountville, which is right outside of Napa. Now with the Yountville Veterans Home Cemetery, you do have to be a resident of the Yountville Veteran Home to be buried there. So if that's not the situation that you're in, there's the other 2 that you can look into. At the moment, we are in the process of building a 4th one. It's going to be somewhere in Southern California. I'm not sure how far along they are in that process, but just be on the lookout for a 4th veteran cemetery that's going to be in Southern California. All right, and then before I pass it on, I just want to bring your attention to some common websites that we think you should be familiar with as you separate, or once you've separated and you enter into the civilian world, as you take advantage of those benefits. The first one is va.gov. va.gov, I like to think of it like a hub for veterans. So whether you're looking for information about the VA healthcare system, or applying for the VA healthcare system, looking for disability and compensation, getting into your education benefits, or even just looking to view your records, you can always go to va.gov and it will take you to where you need to go to get that information. Another one is e-benefits. I like e-benefits a lot. In my situation, when I was a student, I was logging on to e-benefits, to complete the applications for my education benefits. I was able to see if they cut a check for my BAH when I was in school. Did they certify my classes when I was in school? did they send out that check already? So this is a website where you'll get that kind of information. And then finally, My Healthy Vet. I think this is a pretty cool website if you are taking advantage of the VA healthcare system. With this website, you could actually view your health records, communicate with your primary care physician, and set up appointments with them, and also refill prescriptions. So as we continue to service our veterans, please feel free to reach out to us and give us your email address or fill out one of our surveys so that we could keep in contact with you and let you know what's going on with the Veteran Service Division and CalVet in general. If you don't want to fill out the survey or give us your email address, feel free to set up a profile on MyCalVet or like us on Facebook, and always attend our webinars. On that archives page, you could also find a calendar for upcoming webinars, so you can be up to date with what's going on later on down the line. This is my contact information. If you have any questions about what I discussed, I know I went a little fast, but we want to make sure that we get the presenters and all presenters in here. But please reach out, and I could definitely answer those questions. If I can't, then I'll definitely direct you to the right person. So that being said, I'll go ahead and pass it on now to Annette. Annette is our local interagency network coordinator for CalVet, and she's going to explain how they work with veterans across California. So go ahead, Annette, when you're ready.
Good morning. My name is Annette Walliver. I am the local interagency network coordinator, and that's a mouthful. We're referred to as links, but basically what I'm a field agent for the state of California. Actually, I'm one of 8 field agents that we work independently within our own regions, but we work together as a team. Next slide, please. So you can see CalVet has divided the state into 8 regions. Each color is a region with a coordinating link. I'm the Central Valley link. I'm the purple, one right smack dab in the middle. So I'm basically, when I'm traveling on the 99, in fact, I'm going to Ridgecrest this weekend to go to a stand down. So I cover Stanislaus to Kern counties, representing about 144,000 veterans. And we work with federal and state agencies to build up a network of services. Next slide, please. So what we want to be able to do is we provide outreach to service members, veterans, and their families. And by building up these resources and working within our communities, we have augmented services. So what the federal and state may not be able to do for a veteran, current and prior military service members and their families, we can get these augmented services within our community, and then we can make referrals and work directly with these service provider networks. And then we assist in local emergencies. Last year, I was actually deployed to the Tulare LAC Local Assistance Center in Porterville over a period of 3 weeks to assist veterans who were victims of the SQF fires. In some cases, not only did they lose all their property, but they also lost a lot of their paperwork. And that DD Form 214, that's kind of the gateway to benefits. So by working with our local county Veterans Service Office, I was able to get copies of their DD Form 214, and then also working with CalVet Home Loans agent, Brad, which we've mentioned earlier, get a certificate of eligibility so that they could go forward with a VA or a CalVet home loan. If they had a CalVet home loan, we were able to assist them with their insurance paperwork. And then currently, us 8 links throughout the state, we're taking the calls that go to 1-800-CalVet. So whether I get a call from Klamath Falls or San Diego, because I know the federal and state resources that are available, I'm able to assist them. If we need deeper services, I contact their coordinating link in their area, because we're our subject matter experts in each of our areas and can dive deeper into that benefit pool. And then we provide leadership and advocacy to local communities by being involved in these collaboratives, these veterans employment committees. Not only do we make sure everyone is aware of their benefits, but we also see if there's any gaps in benefits that we can pass on to our government representatives. Next slide, please. So getting connected to your benefits, I'm kind of the poster child for that. I was a United States Army veteran. I served from 1975 to 1978. When I separated, I used my GI Bill. I got my degree, and then I used my VA home loan, and I thought I'm done. But it wasn't until 11 years ago when I started working for the state of California, I realized I could file for compensation. So I have a service-connected disability, or I could enroll in VA healthcare. So these are the agencies on here that you can rely on. We work with them day in and day out, and they're part of our network. Employment and training, the Employment Development Department actually has dedicated staff. I was an EDD vet rep for 8 years that can assist you with resume writing, interview skills, and actually connecting you directly to employers. And they are co-located in the America's Job Center of California. And you can, they actually have the tools that you can use, whether it's computers to do your resume, to do job searching, copy machines, fax machines, scanners. They have all of this equipment there for you, and you can file for unemployment, disability, or paid family leave, and they can assist you with that process. California state benefits, well, that's what CalVet is all about. Every state has different benefits and different eligibilities. So we work very closely. In fact, the County Veteran Service Office, I'm actually, that's where my office is here in Fresno, California. And they administer a lot of the state and federal benefits. They are the boots on the ground. So they know exactly what they're doing. In fact, they do 50% of the claims in the state of California. So I rely on them heavily. So if you need to do compensation or pension claims, get your DMV paperwork or college tuition fee waiver, they're there to assist you in any of those benefits. And then healthcare, we should be mindful of healthcare during this time. VA medical centers and clinics and the vet center. Like I said, I'm enrolled in VA healthcare, and my appointments have been through telehealth and VA Connect. If you're not enrolled in VA healthcare, you can go online, or actually you can just call one of your local VA clinics or centers and talk to eligibility, and they can talk to you about getting you enrolled. And then I want to just say a very positive thing on My Healthy Vet. I did a secure messaging to my doctor saying I need a refill on some of my medications. She emailed me back, okay. I did everything I needed to do. When I went in to check on it, she didn't refill them for me. She merely okayed them to be refilled. So when I refilled them, click, it's that easy. Then I emailed the VA Medical Center and said, you know, I really messed up. Is it possible that you could expedite this? And I had my medications later that day. So take advantage of these benefits. Next slide, please. So if you remember nothing else, just remember that this information, like I said, I'm a service-connected United States Army veteran. I've used a lot of these resources locally and throughout the state. If you need any information, I'll be more than happy to connect you with them. And thank you for your service.
All right, thank you, Annette. Appreciate that. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and pass it on to Charles Green. Charles is the Chief Outreach and Community Relations person for the VA healthcare system. He's based out there in the greater Los Angeles area, and he's going to explain a little bit more about the VA healthcare system and how they work with veterans here in California. So go ahead, Charles, when you get the chance.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Charles Green. I'm the Chief of Outreach for Hospital System here at the Greater Los Angeles Healthcare System. Currently, I'm the acting site manager at the Sepulveda Ambulatory Care Center, which is located right here in Los Angeles, California, and I'm honored to be here today. A little bit about myself. I'm retired from the Army, over 20 plus years active duty, and I've been on many deployments. I'm currently work, for the fellow entity. I knew a question came in the chat. So CalVet is state, and the VA, I work for the federal government. So we're a federal entity. So the information I'm going to be giving you today is basically an overview of some important things that you should know about healthcare. So I'd like to start off with the Mission Act. Next slide. So in June of 2019, the Mission Act came into law. So the VA had 1 year to implement it, which would have been June of 2020. to roll it out. And so now it's been over a year that we've been using the Admission Act. The veterans have the opportunity to access it. What I'm going to do now is just talk about some of the key highlights of the Admission Act. Some of you on this call might have used it already, so you might be aware of it. But I'm just going to kind of give you a refresher, or for those who don't know, just information about the Admission Act. On this slide here, right, it's basically for the Admission Act. Some of the key elements were it expand eligibility for caregiver service to all veterans, an era for all veterans, Vietnam, OEF, Operation New Dawn, World War II, if the veterans are still alive, and the Korean War, in all eras. It authorizes anywhere to anywhere telehealth provisions across state lines. It establishes a VA Center for Innovation for Care and Payment. In the past, veterans would have to go through fee-based or other entities like to pay emergency bills, and they would have to call multiple different numbers. Now with Care in the Community, there's a centralized call center that sort of like a one-stop shop, so you can just call and get all of your payments all taken care of in one spot. Also, it increases veterans' access to the community, which we're going to talk about more, and it establishes urgent care for veterans in the community. And we're going to talk about that more in detail. Next slide. So some of the key things that you should know about, we're going to talk about some of the 6 criteria for using the Admission Act. So one thing about the Admission Act, right, in order to use the Admission Act, you have to be seen in the VA during the previous 24 months. So in other words, you have to been able to go in to a VA medical center or CBOC or ambulatory care center and had care at a VA facility. So there are 6 eligibility criteria, and they're pretty straightforward. We're going to talk about them. One of the key things about using the Admission Act, you will sit down with your provider, you as a veteran, and you will talk about your care. Your provider, he or she will use what they call a decision support tool. It's basically a program that launches wait times, drive times, and availability for care out in the community to see what's there. Also, they'll be using CPRS, which is computerized patient record system, to match all your information to see what's available for you. So basically, it's a streamlined process for you to be involved with your provider. One thing about the Admission Act, right? The Admission Act, you must agree to go out with your provider. You must concur that you would like to go out in the community for care in the community. So it's a tool that's available to you. I myself have used the Admission Act on several occasions, but it's a good tool for you to have access, you know, to go out in the community if the VA doesn't meet the wait times, or if the drive distance, there's opportunities for you to go out for care in the community. Next slide. So the first element out of the 6 criteria is if a service is unavailable at the VA. So here's an example. Say a female veteran needs maternity care. Well, in a lot of the VA facilities, we're not equipped to do maternity care. So if they need prenatal care or after maternity care, this would be the opportunity for a female veteran to talk to her provider to go out in the Admission Act to use this service when the service is not available. And I'm just using mental health, maternity care as an example, but there's other disabilities that might be associated that the VA can't be able to assist at that time. But if they can't, then the service is not available. You'll be able to go out in the community using the Admission Act. Next slide. Best medical interest. When there's a drive time situation, or there's a complex situation that you might need care in the community, or you might have better opportunities in the community to get services, then you and your provider will decide if the VA cannot do it, what's more suitable and best care for you to go out in the community, and what's in the best interest of the VA and the veteran to go out and to get care in the community. Next slide. Next slide. Quality standards. So this next one, meeting care for a VA medical service line that is not in compliance with the VA standards for quality. So say, for example, hypothetically, the VA is not meeting a medical standard requirement. Say you heard in the news that the VA is injecting different type of dyes in the veterans' eyes, and veterans are becoming blind, and we're doing a disservice to the veteran. If you've heard of something like that, or something in the media came out, something like that, then what happens is you can sit down with your provider and said that, you know, based on the information I received, you guys are not meeting the standard for this particular disability. Can I go out and get care in the community because I feel more comfortable and safer going out in the community? And you to be able to sit down with your provider, he or she, and talk about it and be able to get care in the community if that kind of situation comes up. Next slide. Access standards. So this is probably one of the most important slides. The VA cannot furnish care within certain designated access standards. So the two key things before under choice that you probably heard about, it was again drive times and wait times. It was 30 minutes before, 40 minutes and a 40-minute drive under choice. But now under the Mission Act, the drive times that if it takes you more than 30 minutes to get to your primary care or mental health appointments, then you can use the Mission Act. If you have a specialty care, like to say a heart specialist or say like a brain specialist or another type of disability specialist, what happens is if it's more than 60-minute drive time, then you can go out and use care in the community. Also for wait times, if you cannot get an appointment for more than under 20 days for primary care or mental health, then you can go out on the Mission Act. And if it's 28 days for specialty care, then if we can't meet the requirements, then you can go out on the Mission Act. So what happens is when you sit down with your provider and your provider schedules you for an appointment, your provider is going to launch that decision support tool there with you and say, for example, I use the example for myself. I needed to get acupuncture for a disability that I had. And I went down and I talked to my provider and I said, does the VA offer acupuncture care? She said, yes, we do. However, we're sort of backlogged in our clinics. So it's taken 5 months to get veterans appointments. So when she told me that, I knew that it was a specialty care. So she automatically asked me, would you like to go out for care in the community under the Mission Act? And I said, yes, because it was in that it was over 28 days. So what happened was she got me a referral and they called me, the care in the community, they got the referral. They called me, they asked me what day I wanted to go, if I want to go nighttime, evening, morning schedule. They asked me, do I have a preferred acupuncture specialist that I want to go to? And I gave them all the information. And about a week later, I got a referral and approval to go out in the community to get acupuncture treatment. So that's how it will work. If you have drive times, if we go over those or we can't meet the standard, or for wait times, then you can go out for care in the community for those areas. And I'll be able to answer a lot of questions after I finish my presentation through the chat. Next slide. And this right here is just an example of what I talked about, drive times and wait times. This is just an example. Next slide. So for states that have no full service VA medical facilities, they can also use the Mission Act. For example, if you live in Alaska, Hawaii, New Hampshire, territories of Guam, American Samoa, Northern Mariana Islands or the Virgin Islands, these areas don't have a fully staffed, as you might say, all the different services that the VA offers. So individual veterans who live in these areas can automatically, with the referral, go out on the Mission Act and get care in the community in these locations. Next slide. So this next slide is sort of outdated, but anyone who was using choice when the Mission Act was rolled out, they had it up into a year, which would have been June of 19, which would have been, excuse me, June of 2020, to be grandfathered in using the Mission Act. But now, if you had choice before, you would have to go see your provider again to get a new referral, because June 2020 has expired. So you would have to get a new referral on the Mission Act to go out in the community. Next slide. And next slide, same thing we just talked about. So before I get into urgent care, which is another part of the Mission Act, I just want to sort of like talk to you about the process of getting enrolled into the VA healthcare system. And basically, I'd like to tell you that basically you're going to have to have 2 years of active duty, or you have to complete the deployment by the President of the United States in order to use the VA healthcare system. So if you're a reservist, for example, and if you're a reservist and you went to Iraq or Afghanistan or any place that you're getting hazard duty pay, you can use the VA, get enrolled in the VA healthcare system. Or if you have 24 months of active duty, you can use the VA healthcare system. But if you're a reservist and you never deployed and you never went on active duty, then you're not eligible to use the VA healthcare system. So this is the way the process works. I just want to kind of walk it through you before we get into urgent care. So first thing you do is get a copy of DD-214. You can go, as they said, to My Healthy. You can go to a business office at a local VA medical facility, or you can go to www.va.gov and do it electronically. So once they verify your active duty and find out if you're service connected or not, then you assign to a priority group. Now, the priority group will determine if you have a copay or not a copay. So once you get a physical and you're assessed in the VA healthcare system, you're assigned to a patient care alignment team. And that patient care alignment team is made up of a provider, nurse, social worker, and a clerk. Now that'll be your PAC team. And that team will give you all your care while you're being seen in the VA. So priority groups are based on your service connection. So there's 8 priority groups, and we're going to talk about them more when we get to urgent care. So I want you to kind of understand when I'm talking about priority groups. So priority group 1 is for veterans who are 50% service connected or greater. So if you're 50%, 60, 70, 80, 90 service connected, right? Everything that you service connected and non-service connected is free. So long as you're 50% service connected, everything non-service connected and service connected is free, and all your medication is free. And priority group 2 is for veterans who are 40% and 50% service connected. Everything that you're service connected for is free. Everything that you're not service connected for, you would have to pay a copay. And the copay is $15 for primary care and $50 for specialty care. However, if your income, based on the zip code where you live at, say hypothetically here in Los Angeles, if your income is under $30,000, then you don't have any copays. I'm gonna skip to priority group 6 because that's probably another priority group, because the other priority groups are basically for aid and attendant, housebound, but priority group 6 is what you kind of need to know about. So if you're a Vietnam veteran and you have boots on the ground in Vietnam, you could always get into a priority group 6. When they do your eligibility, right, if you're not service connected, then they're going to go by your income. And if your income is over the threshold, as I said, of 30,000 for determining your copay, say your income is 50,000 between you and your spouse, or 50,000 you by yourself, then you as a veteran won't be able to get into the healthcare system until you become service connected. However, if you're in priority group 6, if you're in Vietnam, boots on the ground, if you're OEF, and you were in Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation New Dawn, or if you were in the Persian Gulf War, from 90, during 91, then you could also get into the healthcare system regardless of income. And finally, if you're at Camp Lejeune and you're in the registry for water contamination, if you were stationed at Camp Lejeune, I think from the 50s to the 80s, late 80s, and you had water contamination, then you're also in priority group 6. If you're in priority group 6, then everything that you're service connected for is free, and everything that you're not service connected for, you would have to pay a copay. I know that was a lot that I covered, but a lot of that you can look at www.va.gov, click on healthcare, click on priority groups, and all that stuff is in there on the internet. So the first part of the Mission Act we talked about was the 6 criteria for going out in the community. The next part of the Mission Act that was approved was urgent care. So urgent care is really, really good. One thing about urgent care is that, first of all, you have to be seen in the VA during the previous 24 months. Urgent care is for what it is, urgent care, not emergency care, but urgent care. So if the VA facility is closed and say you have a cold or a sprained ankle or something like that, you can go out in urgent care. The key for going out in urgent care is that before you go out, number one, you have to have 24 months in the VA, been seen within the past 24 months. You have to go to the TRICARE website to make sure you find an in-network provider based on the zip code where you live at. So say you need urgent care here in Los Angeles, you will put the zip code at where you live at, you will find out all the providers who are in the network, and you can go to one of those providers and go there and be seen for that urgent care. If you don't pick a provider in the network, you're going to pay out of pocket for the care. So it's very important that you go in and make sure that you look at and pick the provider that's in the website. You can find also at www.va.gov, you can click on urgent care, and the list will give you, there'll be a link to give you a search tool to find out what providers are based on the zip code where you live at. So once you find out what the providers are and you go out, these how the co-pays go. If you're in priority group 1 through 5, then the first 3 visits are free. Your 4th visit, you have to pay a $30 copay. If you're in priority group 6, the first 3 visits are 0 pay, they're free, and the 4th visit and greater is $30 copay. And if you're in priority group 7 and 8, which probably none of you will be in, every time you go out, it's $30 copay. At the end of every calendar year, then the co-payment calendar, the payment is reset. So if you go from January to January and you only go 3 times, all the visits are free. But if you go 6 times, after your 4th visit, you'll pay $30 copay, $30 copay, $30 copay. When January comes of the following year, then your calendar, the clock is reset, then you're back to 0 copays again. So it's very, very important that you make sure when you go out is for urgent care. Emergency care is a different situation. If you go out for emergency care, if emergency care is life-threatening and you go out, you always have to remember when you go out is that when you go out, if you are conscious or when you come conscious, make sure you tell the emergency facility that you're a veteran and that you need to get connected to the transfer office. So that way the VA will know that you're in a local hospital, and then they can make sure the bill is taken care of. And then also once you're stabilized, transfer you to a VA facility. Quite naturally, if you're unconscious and you can't speak or anything, whenever you can come through, then you need to make sure that you notify the hospital that you're a veteran, because if you don't do that, you could be subject to out-of-cost payments for emergency care. So just information to know. Next slide. And the final part that I like to talk about is caregiver support. So caregiver support, last year, they implemented caregiver support. So previously, caregiver support was only for OIF, OEF, and Operation New Down veterans. It was basically veterans who had serious injuries, and they had problems and they needed support, someone to care for them. Well, part of the Mission Act, the caregiver portion was approved by Congress, but they didn't implement it until last year. So as of September of last year until now, veterans who served from 9/11 or before May 1975, they can get the care. They can use caregiver support. That's the first phase. For veterans who served after 1975, the next 2 years, they're going to be phasing in the years that you're eligible to use caregiver support. Next slide. So caregiver support, basically the way it works is that you have to have a disability rating of 70% or higher. You have to have continuous service for 6 months, and the inability to perform activity for daily living each time activity is performed, or needs supervision or protection or instructions, which is a functional impairment that directs impact to maintain his or her personal safety on a daily basis. So those are really two criteria. So just for information, your caregiver, right? They will be giving you the care. They can also get paid a stipend based on the zip code where you live at. They can get paid, like for GS4 step 1, they can get paid that amount. It's approximately about $10 an hour, $10 to $15 an hour, and they can get paid up to 40 hours per week, depending on how much care they have to give to you. But you got to at least have 6 continued months. All you have to do is go to www.caregiver.va.gov and fill out a 1010 CG, put that through the system, and then they will take a look at your application, review it, and then find out if you're eligible to use the program. So those 3 things, next slide. So those are the 3, next slide, please. So those are the 3 important things that will deal with the Mission Act, the 6 categories, urgent care and caregiver support. Now, I just want to talk to you real quick before I turn it back over, just about the COVID vaccinations, which is very, very, very important that you need to know. In order for us to get out of this pandemic, we need to make sure that we get vaccinated. So for everyone who has gotten vaccinated, at the VA, we've been using Pfizer vaccination, and we also have been using J&J. So this is the new rule that's coming out, or the new guidelines that are coming out right now. Anyone who received the 2nd dosage of the Pfizer vaccination and you have an immune compromised situation in your healthcare, you're eligible to get the 3rd shot right now. You can go to your local VA facility and get the 3rd shot. Starting with the approval, tentatively, the approval of September 20th, next week, we're going to start administering the booster shot. The booster shot we administer this way. 8 months from your 2nd shot, say you got Pfizer, the 1st shot and the 2nd shot, 8 months from your 2nd shot, you'll be eligible to get the booster shot. So you need to contact your local VA medical facility. And, if you, want to, I would recommend that you get the booster shot. You should contact them. Or 8 months from your J&J shot, you should contact them to make an appointment starting after next week to get rolled out to get your booster shot. So it's very, very important because to fight the Delta variant and other variants that come out, it's very imperative that you get the booster shot. So I would recommend you contact your VA medical facility for more details. And also, this is flu season. You could also get a flu shot. You could get a flu shot and a COVID shot simultaneously. It's your choice. But me personally, I'm getting my COVID booster shot next Friday, and I'll probably wait about 3 weeks before I get the vaccination shot. So I just wanted to give you that important information, and now I'll turn it back over to the facilitator for Q&A. Thank you.
All right, Charles, thank you. That's good information, and thank you for that information about the vaccine at the end. Very useful. Before we move on to the questions and answers part, I just want to also bring up two things. One, the reason why College of the Sequoias is hosting this webinar today is because their school takes part in the VITAL program. So that's the Veterans Integration to Academic Leadership program. One of the benefits of the school taking place in this VITAL program is that they do have a psychologist on campus that can see student veterans. However, you do have to be enrolled in the VA healthcare system to take advantage of that. So, one of the reasons why we're doing this webinar is just so that you could understand what the VA healthcare system has to offer you as a veteran, and then also so that you could be prepared and understand what benefits are also available to you through your school. Another thing I wanted to bring up is, we do have somebody working the chat right now. His name is Kirk Eller. You can see his contact information there on the screen. He also had thrown in a link to our survey, post-webinar survey. You also emailed that link as well. This survey is there so that you can let us know what went well today, what we could work on for our future events. What kind of topics do you want to see later on down the line? So it just gives us that information so that we can make this program better for you. So if you get the chance to fill it out, please do give us that information so that we can make this a better program for you. With that being said, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Kirk so that he could bring us into the questions and answers portion of the webinar. And if there are any, we'll go ahead and answer those.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, and I did, to reiterate, I just posted the survey one more time in the chat. So if you do get a chance to take that survey, we do appreciate that. I also did post the link map one more time, our resource book for download, and a PDF of the slides of this presentation. But this is being recorded, so you can access the recorded webinar at a later date. The questions, starting with the first one that we received from Austin, he was addressing why what is the point of the My Health eVet if the VA doesn't use this platform?
So I can answer that.
Sure.
So the important element for using My Health eVet, and I can just say this as a veteran, is that a lot of times when you call into the VA, you have to go through a call center. And when you go through a call center, you're directed for what other area you're trying to speak to throughout the nation. So it's a centralized call center. The call center can be in Detroit, it can be in Phoenix. So the key thing for using My Health eVet is the secure messaging. And let me explain what I mean by that, is that, so say you have a lab result, you can go into My Health eVet and look at the lab results. Say you run out of medications, you have the opportunity to personally do secure messaging and email your provider back and forth. Normally your provider answers you within the next day, and you can ask your provider a question. Oh, by the way, my medication ran out. Oh, by the way, I need to get blood work. Could you put me in for labs? Oh, by the way, can you tell me what's going on with my PSA or whatever your medical conditions are? Or I need to come in and see you. So that way you have that personal one-on-one relationship with your provider. Also, your provider might say, okay, how about tomorrow or the next day, let's do a telehealth meeting so we can talk in person. Compared to if you use a call center, you might not be able to get to the provider, maybe to leave a message, and maybe it takes, or maybe the message doesn't even get there. So My Health eVet is very, very good tool for you to use to make appointments, refill prescriptions, and just get general information about the VA.
Thank you, Charles. Austin also asked, said that he had made the appointment and they've never called him back. So he was trying to voiced some frustrations there on his appointment. The next one wasn't until December. So I can understand his frustration for trying to make an appointments and the delay. I know there has to be some patience involved in trying to make these appointments. A lot of things are electronic and going through the virtual world for these appointments. So
But
hopefully
also, Austin, just to let you know, I'm not sure where you're located at, but at each VA medical facility, they have a patient advocate. So if you feel that they are not taking care of you or getting you an appointment in a timely manner, you can see the patient advocate at that facility, and they will be able to look at your case and try to get you assistance.
Okay. Thank you, Charles. The next question, I addressed this one from JB about the college tuition fee waiver. He was asking if the dependents had to be, if they didn't graduate from California school, if they would still be eligible. They live in another state. I think for the dependent fee waiver, the veteran does not have to be a resident of the state of California. However, the student would have to meet the residency requirements for that institution. So even if they graduated from a high school outside of the state of California, if they were to move to California, meet the residency requirements, and then attend college, they would be eligible for that tuition fee waiver.
And just to piggyback on that, typically when it comes to California residency, the schools want to see something like a year and 1 day.
Yeah.
So the student would have to be living in California for a year and 1 day prior to the start of the semester that they want to attend. And
Thanks.
so whether that's like bringing in banking statements, utility bills, something that shows that you lived in the address for a year and 1 day, those are the kind of documents that they'll use to verify that you are a resident of California. But like Kirk said, the veteran does not need to be living in California. The veteran can separate anywhere in the United States. And the student veteran or the student dependent can take advantage of that.
Okay. Next one is for Charles about the Mission Act. Eric asks if the Mission Act chooses I believe that's probably your primary care physician or your care for you, or does the veteran have a choice for your provider?
So what happens is, again, depending on where you are located at here in California, once you go to that VA medical facility and you get your physical, then you're assigned to a team. So basically they assign you to a panel, to a doctor. Like say if you're a women's veteran, they will assign you to the women's program. Say if you're RF, OEF, Operation Untitled, they'll assign you to the RF clinic and so on, etc. So they'll send you to that clinic and you'll have a nurse practitioner or you have a provider. So that provider should be able to take your needs. However, if you feel uncomfortable, you could also actually get reassigned to a different provider. It's your choice. So, but at first they're going to assign you to a panel that's manageable to take your care. But if you have feel uncomfortable or you don't feel you have concerns about the provider, then you can choose another provider in a medical facility. As far as the Mission Act is concerned, what happens is when they send you out, they're going to ask you, do you have any provider in mind that you would like to go to? If you do have someone in mind, then you could ask for that person, but that person would have to be into the TRICARE network in order to go out. So if they can't get that person, they can ask them to get enrolled. But if not, they will find you a provider in the TRICARE network to send you out on the Mission Act.
Thank you, Charles. The next question was from Crystal. Crystal is asking if taking advantage of benefits, it's become more complicated. The Davis, California is a VA cemetery. Is this cemetery not available any longer? Okay, I'm not sure. I'd have to do some more research on the cemetery in Davis. I know the VA National Cemetery in Dixon is still open for veterans, the National Cemetery in Dixon. I'm not familiar with the Davis VA Cemetery. We do have a state cemetery in Yountville that is attached to the Yountville Veterans Home. And I know that you would have to be a member of the veteran home there to be interned in that veteran cemetery. Hopefully I'm answering that question right. So yeah, okay, so it's Dixon. Yes, the Dixon Cemetery is still open. They have a lot of space available. I believe if you go on our website under the burials and cemeteries portion, there is a National Cemetery Registry there. You can click on that link. I will post it in the chat for you or in here for you as well. You can get information on the burial cemeteries. Okay. The next question will be coming from E. Chavez about the CHAMP VA. I've had time finding providers that know about it or how to bill it.
So CHAMP VA, basically, if you're 100% service connected, then your spouse will be eligible for CHAMP VA. I would recommend what you should probably do is go to www.va.gov and click on CHAMP V under medical. There's a phone number you can call. I will call that phone number, and that phone number will be able to give you more information like locations available. Like say, for example, here in Los Angeles, I think Long Beach takes CHAMP VA recipients, but our hospital system doesn't take them, but they also have their own network of providers. So I would call that number. I don't have the number on me right here, but if you go to www.va.gov and click on medical for CHAMP VA, there's a contact number and they should be able to give you more information.
Thank you. Okay, the next question will be from Dottie, Robin. I cannot copy and paste. Okay, I'm sorry. Hopefully we'll get that to you. If you can email them to you, we will. Thank you. Denise, can you talk more about the Sequoia program? I missed some of the information about it.
Is she asking about the Vital program? I don't, if that's what she's asking about, I'm not familiar too much with the program, but I do have it up right here. Basically, okay. The Vital program, which College of the Sequoias does take part of, offers on-campus clinical care and coordination. They improve understanding of veterans' unique strengths and challenges through education and training delivered to the campus community. And they collaborate with the local VA medical centers, Veterans Benefits Administration, campus faculty and staff members, and community resources. So basically, one of the reasons why we brought it up, in case you missed it, was because College of the Sequoias participates in this program, they do have a psychologist on campus that could meet with student veterans. However, you do have to be a part of the VA healthcare system. Okay. So if you are a part of that, then you also have access to this person on the campus who can help you out if needed.
Okay, and are they available through the Veteran Resource Center, Michael?
I would assume Ashley was the one who told me about the program, and so I would just reach out to the Veterans Resource Center to get more information on it.
Yeah, Ashley just posted in the chat the VRC phone number so that you can access that phone number to get more information. Thank you, Ashley. The next one was from Anonymous. Where in Southern California is the new cemetery supposed to be located? Michael, I know, I believe you, I think it's supposed to be down around the El Toro Lake Forest area, if I'm not mistaken, but they haven't legally established the location. It's still to be determined. There's still some ongoing legal issues and battles with that going on with the city and the location and the land. So there's some info to be determined.
Right. Yeah. I don't, we've just been hearing that that's what's in the works. There's nothing that we've seen that or read that was official. Mm-hmm. And from also what we've been hearing, it sounds like it might be closer to the LA area. But like I said, we're still waiting for more instruction or detail on what to say about that and what it's going to look like.
What I would recommend is if you sign up for my Calvet, and you can actually filter out information and how you want to receive upcoming information on my Calvet, you can select that tab for legislation and veteran benefits on what kind of information you would like to be updated on. So you can receive information when we have a new cemetery on board, or the status of that legal battle going on down there for the cemeteries. Hopefully that answers your question. The next question is, when will this recording be available and where? I will post in the chat the link for the recorded webinars. I can't answer exactly when our communications department uploads it. There's a process. We take the recording and we turn it over to our operations division, and then they upload it into a YouTube video format, and then our comms division actually uploads. So it is a convoluted process a little bit, but just log into the website and check on the archived webinars, and you'll have a link there in the chat shortly to access that. And let's see, the next one, I think that's all we have so far. And that's the last question, Michael. I think I answered them all. If anybody else has another query, question, please post it in the chat or the Q&A.
Yeah.
And we'll address it quickly.
Well, while we wait for that to see if anything else does come through, that's a good segue to the next slide. Just want to bring your attention to some upcoming webinars for that we're going to be putting on for the month of September, and a couple of dates for October. Some of these do take place through college campuses, like what we're doing today with College of the Sequoia. Just want to put it out there. You don't have to be a student veteran to attend these webinars. You can simply just go to our registration page and sign up. But we're going to be focusing on claims and appeals this month. September is actually Suicide Prevention Month, and so we're going to have a Suicide Prevention Summit actually at the end of this week, and then on the 29th we're going to talk about prevention and early interventions, or prevention through early interventions. I apologize. So take a look at what we're going to be doing. Go onto our website to see the calendar, and we hope to see you at the next one. And I'm assuming nothing else is coming, Kirk.
No, Michael, that's it. I just posted the link for our webinars, archived webinars and recorded webinars. The contact information for CalTAP, our email, our Calvet information as well. And then I also posted the survey one last time. So hopefully you've all had a chance to, I did upload the PDF of the slide presentations as well. And I'm going to do that one more time, just in case the archive or the recorded webinars take a while. You can download the PDFs for your convenience. In the meantime, you'll have access to the slides. So with that being said, that's all the information that I have. No more questions, Michael.
Great. Good job, Kirk, with adding that stuff to the chat. Please take the time to download it. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us until the very end. If you have any questions that maybe we didn't get around to for some reason, or come to you later on today, feel free to reach out. That's CalTAP's own email inbox that we read personally, or you could just simply reach out to calvet.ca.gov. I'm sorry, go to calvet.ca.gov and find the information there. Like us on Facebook to stay in contact with what's going on, and we will see you at the next one. Thanks again for being here. Goodbye.